As Lewis Hamilton prepares to end his iconic era with Mercedes, fans hoped to see him don Ferrari red during post-season testing, but Mercedes had other plans. Despite Hamilton's wish for an early transition, Mercedes has blocked him from participating, insisting he fulfill his final obligations, including a high-profile farewell and media appearances. The move seems as strategic as it is sentimental. By holding Hamilton close until year's end, Mercedes denies Ferrari the advantage of Hamilton's expertise in their car development. In a surprising twist, the anticipated grand send-off for the 7-time champion has been dialed back due to budget constraints. With the cost cap tightening the team's purse strings, Mercedes has opted to curb expenses, trading Hamilton's once-planned, larger-than-life farewell for a quieter, more restrained goodbye. This sudden change has left fans wondering, will Hamilton's legendary run with Mercedes conclude with the bang it deserves, or with a quiet farewell as he slips out the back door? Perhaps there's more to this story than meets the eye. After enduring 2 disheartening seasons with Mercedes, struggling to crack the code of the 2022 ground effect car regulations, Lewis Hamilton decided a fresh start was in order. Barely weeks after signing a new contract with the Silver Arrows, Hamilton was already eyeing a future in Ferrari, convinced his career would take a stronger turn with the Scuderia. At first, his instincts seemed spot on. The W15, Mercedes' 2024 machine, proved to be a tough pill to swallow, seemingly inheriting all the quirks and missteps of its evil predecessors. Across the opening 8 rounds, Hamilton's best efforts only landed him P6 twice, scoring a modest 42 points. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen was in a league of his own, racking up an intimidating 169 points and establishing a seemingly insurmountable lead. Then, out of the blue, Mercedes sprang back to life with upgrades. A revised front wing debuted at Monaco, gifting the W15 a touch of stability it had sorely lacked. But it was in Canada that the turnaround truly took shape. Both cars found genuine race-winning pace, marking the start of a surprising resurgence for the Silver Arrows. Mercedes' golden moment arrived when George Russell stunned the field by seizing pole in Montreal, narrowly edging out Max Verstappen after showing blistering pace in practice. Hamilton, despite a series of small mistakes, still started strong in third, thanks to the newfound pace of the W15. In a twist, a late safety car saw both Mercedes drivers dive into the pits for fresh rubber, setting the stage for a thrilling intra-team battle. Russell held his nerve, out-dueling Hamilton to clinch Mercedes' first podium of the season. Hamilton, finishing 4th, used his tyre advantage to secure an extra point with the fastest lap, a small but significant silver lining. Verstappen's victory in Montreal marked his 6th of the year, but few anticipated it would be his penultimate win. The final one came in Barcelona, where the relentless Mercedes duo stayed hot on his heels. This time, however, the tables turned from Montreal. Hamilton snagged his first podium of the season, while Mercedes solidified their resurgence as a serious threat on the grid. Mercedes looked prepared for a hot streak between the Circuit de Catalunya and the summer break, and they wasted no time making it count. In Austria, George Russell managed to seize victory, albeit with a stroke of luck, as a clash between Norris and Verstappen left the path open. But any notion of it being a one-off was swiftly dismissed by Hamilton. Ending a drought that had lasted an agonizing 945 days, he clinched a Grand Prix win, proving Mercedes were back in business and ready to challenge for the top step once more. Hamilton kept the momentum going with a 3rd-place finish in Hungary, but the real twist came at Spa. It was heartbreak for George Russell, who originally crossed the line as the winner, only to face disqualification. Hamilton, always ready to capitalize, scooped up the points, giving Mercedes another reason to believe in their comeback. Returning from the August break, Mercedes had every reason to feel optimistic, with 8 world championships under their belt and a car seemingly back on form. But the upgraded floor, a supposed game changer, threw a wrench into the works, disrupting the W15's balance. After a stunning 6-race streak that saw 3 wins and a podium in each, Mercedes suddenly found themselves adrift. Russell managed a P4 in qualifying, but his lap was unremarkable, clocking over half a second slower than pole sitter Lando Norris on a relatively short track. Hamilton, meanwhile, struggled, failing to even make the top 10 in qualifying. By race day, Mercedes could only salvage P7 and P8, with Russell narrowly leading the duo. As the season continued, so did the challenges. Since the summer break, a series of upgrades have hit the W15, but the anticipated silver bullet hasn't materialized. Russell's P3 in Azerbaijan remains Mercedes' best result post-summer, and even that podium came under fortuitous circumstances. A last lap collision between Perez and Sainz left both the Red Bull and Ferrari drivers empty-handed, allowing Russell to snag third, a small consolation in a season that has Mercedes once again searching for answers. Mercedes now finds itself edging dangerously close to the cost cap, particularly after the costly damage incurred over 2 tough weekends in Austin and Mexico City. In Austin, Russell's car suffered substantial damage, leading to an overnight rebuild that forced him to start from the pit lane as a penalty. Just days later in Mexico, Mercedes engineers were once again scrambling after Russell struck a curb in practice 2, sending his W15 into the barriers. Reflecting on the strain his incidents had placed on the team, Russell admitted, "That was really disappointing. I've put so much pressure on the team these last 2 weeks with the lack of spares, and it's been pretty unnecessary. But we don't really know why it's happening. It's not through overdriving, it's just the car bites." As the Grand Prix Drivers Association spokesperson, Russell's words underscored the frustrations within Mercedes. When asked if his recent run of mishaps had intensified budget concerns, Russell acknowledged the added strain on Mercedes' finances as each incident inches the team closer to the cap. Russell, speaking candidly in Mexico, seemed unfazed by the budget cap concerns, asserting, "There's no issue with the cap. We've always kept a margin. It's all about balancing what we spend on this season versus investing in the next." Yet his stance didn't exactly align with his bosses, as Toto Wolff now warns that the situation has become critical, potentially limiting Mercedes' ability to produce certain components before season's end. When Austrian outlet asked Wolff whether Mercedes could muster a final push to help Hamilton secure a farewell win, he responded thoughtfully, "That would be a fantastic goal. 8 drivers in the fight and 4 truly competitive teams, but I've set a clear course for the remaining 4 races," he explained. "I'm willing to sacrifice a strong result now if it means better development for next year." Wolff's words made it clear Mercedes has one eye on the future, even if it means letting go of present-day triumphs. This news hits hard for Lewis Hamilton, who will conclude his lifelong journey with Mercedes this December. He's voiced his desire to leave on a high, ideally with a race win, but Wolff remains resolute, focused on the long-term gain over a farewell victory. "For us, every session and every race from now is a test," Wolff stated firmly. "Victory is secondary to testing every variable: ride height, rear wing, suspension, you name it. We're taking risks now to ensure we learn everything possible for next year." Hamilton might indeed feel more inclined than ever to expedite his departure from Mercedes after Ferrari's impressive back-to-back results in Austin and Mexico Grand Prix, highlighting their resurgence and showing a car that's now capable of challenging McLaren and Red Bull consistently on race day. For Hamilton, watching Ferrari's success while grappling with his current car's struggles must add fuel to his desire for an early switch. Meanwhile, Mercedes' decision to hold Hamilton to his contract for a proper farewell has left some fans questioning if it's the right call. The muted send-off feels at odds with Hamilton's legacy, especially as he has struggled with a less competitive car. For Mercedes, the focus on honouring Hamilton's legacy might feel hollow if their former star leaves just as Ferrari gains momentum, by not allowing Hamilton to fully immerse himself in Ferrari's new developments. Do you think Mercedes made the right call by focusing on next season's development rather than allowing Hamilton to join Ferrari after Abu Dhabi, prioritising their future over a victorious farewell which they promised for their champion? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.